So I was just scrolling through my feed, and I noticed one of my Facebook friends put up a social media awareness, whatever, about not Ty Bennington, he's the home contractor guy, but the Chester Bennington, right, from Lincoln Park, saying it was some kind of Canadian military base. He had been sexually abused by CIA, like MK Ultra / Monarch for the CIA. I don't know. We used to call it divine inspiration where I come from, when you make a doppelganger smarter through manifestations and mandates. Man being M-A-N, if, station, S-T-A-T-I-O-N. So like the head and the thought process works like radio stations. If you are like a doppelganger to my family, DOPPELGANGER, and I need something to manifest through a like family member, we might use you as your head as a station, like radio station, for giving you a mandate, MANDATE. So it's like a man within a date, within a calendar system, within a lifetime. If certain things happen, the message has to get out. We use your genetic, like a radio station, to give you divine inspiration, DEVINSPIRATION. So this way you have a clue into what's going on the neural network around the world. Problem is, and his doppelganger from Lincoln Park would be Panetta. So like Panetta would be your like socialite, like suit, who ages terribly. And then you have his younger, more handsome doppelganger being Chester Bennington, who is like super rock and roll, like screaming really angry shit. Like as if Panetta was born when Bennington was born. His nice suit that goes around and like does like billionaire things to do like billionaire circus politics would really be rocking out on stage like what he found out in the meetings. He'd be like, ah! Right, like if he could do that and then not have to look crazy. Right, yeah, that's kind of how you humans work. To try to save face is what we call it. SAVEFACE. Are you like starting to get this? Like, we got circus politic actors that worked in a certain genre, but then the whole fucking world shifted. And then the next, like, doppelganger genetic crew of Zodiac programmed came out and they were like, what the fuck? Like, are the older crew gonna, like, come talk to us? Or are they still gonna, like, pretend like they don't know us? Like, who are they saving face for? Like, we're saving their faces from not having to do it. But, like, anybody want to come, like, mandate and update us and maybe give us a copy of the fucking schedule that you all hide? And, like, I don't know, how does Kane on WWF or E pay-per-view wrestling championship in 1998, how does he, in 1998, say this word, suck it? When God of the Mundolla and the Black Dahlia, being a white woman from a different town, goes into a situation that she shouldn't be in, and nobody's there to help her, advise her, catch her, or update her on the security concerns that are going to break out in the future. I'm just curious. Because then on the New York station, like actual radio, like the one like this, it broke out on, like, I think it's WBLI or, like, I don't know, WBLJ, I don't know. One of the local guys picked it up from a source, and they were, like, arguing over, like, wait a minute, Triple H and The Undertaker, something happens in 2011, and now they're disputing the Suck It thing from 1998. How do they already know, confirmed without a shadow of a doubt, that in 1998's time, about something that's going to happen in 2011? How is that possible? All Long Island, New York, state of New York, in the USA of America, North America. Canada, you get in on this, way in on this conversation as well. and then go help translate over to something in like Cyrillic and Russian, German, and make sure that you get your shit straight. There's one white woman. She's considered a black dahlia and a black Mundolla. Black Mundolla, just so you understand, it's like a hallway, but it's vertical. It's a vertical horizon, and it's a black and gray space where you kind of, when you, there's some of those like parachute where they throw the air up at like space camp, like the people in like who get to go to like Johnson and Johnson's, like we get to go on the vortex machine of like G-force because we get to like we're pilots and we're gonna like do the sports utility planes with the rigid wings in Russia or maybe America. I don't know, Blue Angels, they give us a couple of those. Right, okay, those guys that get to go around on a spinny thing, right, and do G-force just to check it out before they get up in the air. Just, it's an expensive sport utility vehicle with rigid wings, but whatever. Those guys, right, when you get to like their level of like human genetics, like usually they're extremely good looking. I have yet to see a mere representative or a United States space cadet that was not really extremely intelligent and good looking. It was like God graced them with 3 strokes of something like, you have been really good in the last life, you're going to do really well in this life, and we're going to continue to be best friends forever and ever and ever since I own all space and time. Okay, great. So here's the thing, those people have like this thing where air comes up and they wear a special parachute suit. They look like a flying squirrel, like where like there's a piece of material between here and here and the air catches it, and they're on their belly and their face is down, almost like as if they were jumping out of a plane, but you start on the ground on your belly, they put the air on, and then you go flying up, right? Okay, so it's like the reverse of like space jump out of a plane. Right? Okay, great. With no tandem representative, you're just single solo. SOLOSINGLE, not TANDUM. Alright, so on that kind of situation, it's almost like you in the mandala are falling from the top, but you don't feel, it's zero gravity, you don't feel falling. You don't have a sensation of anything because it is a black space that somehow supports you. It's a mind and body trip because you have to get out of being human for a moment, because it's like being in the human realm, but then they peeled all of the color away and it's only black and like a silvery light of gray. So in that black mandala area, there are several, sometimes there's doors, but most humans, unless that they're predestined in a trillionaire possibility that only 2 people on the face of the earth will ever know from here and elsewhere, they need to be your guide to get you through the correct door, so this way you are able to retrieve the information that you need and be protected, because only they are allowed to permit something genetic from using that system. I own that system, the Black Mandala. I am the Black Dahlia, even though I know that your mind tricks you with the word black, especially in America. They use it so often with melanin-rich, dark skin. You'd be wrong. I know that that shocks you as well. But one of us knows our voodoo, VOODUE. And then there's the view, VUE, and then DOO. Because we're well, I'm an ancient. We're not anything. I'm an ancient. I've used the same exact system, stem, positioning, and names when I appear as human. I happen to be spending what we call a full-time season as human. I don't know why there was no welcome wagon, WELCOMWAGON, when I arrived in Bayside, New York. I do have to say that when I moved to Hampton Park, HAMPTONPARK, in the state of Virginia, STATEVIRGINA. That is a continental U.S. Congress address, meaning North America, for those of you that know Mundolla and how to speak primordial. So, in that sense, when I went and I bought the house at, the number was 7701 Hampton Green Drive, in, I think it was Chesterfield, Virginia. Then there was, again, just like I have a Flushing and a Bayside problem with the same zip code in Bayside, state of New York, I had the same problem down in Midlothian. It was, the larger area was Midlothian, but it also came up as Chesterfield, so it was CHESTERFIELD for Fidelis, and then it was Midlothian, MIDLOTHIAN for, District of Columbia, operating out of the state of Christian continent, being Maryland, Maryland, MARY, for the Christian woman who comes to bear Jesus's cross and have the child. Right, so that would be myself as well in this manifestation that I woke up in. When you are building a reality and a scope, and you're trying to advise humans as to how dangerous the future that they're asking for is, I also put up on Facebook, in 1948, instead of being in Missouri, MISSOURI, which is a state by itself, STATE, within the continental 50 postage stamps of the U.S. Congress, being North America, just below Canada, but north of Mexico. They wanted what they called a native, NATIVE, but what it was it was a facially disfigured leftover from the last time we had an epidemiological genetic breakout, and it was causing massive confusion as to what a real Native American was. So what the white people did was, to avoid some kind of detection, they flew the Native Americans to the state of Israel, being a separate continent, over the ocean, over the Atlantic. So that would be Israel is the state, STATEOFISRAEL. They are representative of the continental U.S. Congress. I think it was probably, that was a sign that it was a royal order under Elizabeth, who was campaigning, by the way, against a known godly source, which would be myself, and my route into becoming genetically human again. We already knew the names before it happened of who needed to be crowned and brought into the royal partnership, but we were having problems with the humans not understanding what a real Native American meant, and then the upcoming problem with the infestation of the facially and biologically distorted Korean, what we called Korean, Chinese, Japanese. There was also a jelly bean move, is what I called it, JELLYBEAN. Somehow, the two islands of North Korea, being, well, it's all of Korea, was one jelly bean on my petri dish, PETRYDISH, that I was making the humans aware. I said, listen, I come from Mundolla. Where I come from, you wake up and the fucking landmass move, and the humans in their landmass don't know, they didn't feel it, but it can happen. So they moved their facially disfigured people onto land, calling it China, built a wall. Yeah, I have problems. They got on the water. They're not allowed water vehicles or to be in rigid sports utility. Never in the Air Force, never on the Navy, never any of that. But you're having problems in the other hemisphere from the U.S. federal side of Congress as opposed to the U.S. Continental side of the U.S. Congress. So they're the Australians, which are facially asteroid and meteoroid approved, white, non-facially disfigured. Their island used to be much more north of the equator, and the facially distorted and disfigured were much more south. I don't know, we woke up and all of a sudden it was transversed, and I'm having a problem because you have a lot of people studying in the future. When I travel my system, I can already see the wrong cunt. If you let this woman, right, this is what we advised them back in 1900s. I said, if this woman gets into a crown position with the campaign that she is trying to pull together, instead of, and she doesn't work with the people that I need, and here are the names, then it is going to cause a world catastrophe on a length that you won't even be able to manifest or understand. You won't be able to follow along either, because you're going to lose your white edge on keeping the kingdom together, in the sense of we keep all people's safety in a monarch. I'm the monarch butterfly. I'm the Mitanach. I'm the midnight flyer. I'm the Helicon of days. I'm the Helicon of years. Some of these words are supernatural words, and I know when you get into your human, you're like, oh, there's no such thing as, right, okay. I know you wake up every day thinking that day, for you, being just regular genetics, it is what it's supposed to be. For me, I know better. I can see many different expectations, many different agreements, and we write new agreements as we're trying to correct the past. The more you disbelieve of what I said before, during, and after, the harder it is for humans to stay healthy, safe, and the correct leadership to hold on to what was given to them from God, being the owner of the Mundolla and the Psi stem, being colorless fruit in a black system with white light. I'd be somewhere white on the whiter scale of light as my skin color, if that helps you, but I'm still known throughout the world and throughout ancient culture, ancient history, as the woman who brings massive quantities of death if I'm not listened to and taken seriously. I'm also considered the serpent woman, the woman who appears with almost like a boa or a python around her neck with matching eyes. Right, yeah, I'm not big. I'll wear the scarf. Yeah, I'm not big on actually holding snakes, I have to be honest with you. But again, that was the way and the words that were given for the scribes from the D-scribe, being Hitler and I. This time around, I came through the channel of genetics, being Linda Marie Gunder and Louis Francis Nicholas Cattaruzza, De Roya, De Paula, De Filippo, like whatever. There's a whole lot of names in the Italian culture, but I mean, what else you want? I mean, it's on heritage and lineage. You all knew about it beforehand. I documented it. I don't know why you, along the way, why you weren't picking them up and bringing them safely in, knowing that I was the Black Mondalia who was judging you all based on how, and then going to take it out on your skins based on how much you took my information, made yourselves more wealthy, grew yourselves more dangerous, more secretive, and lost the world in other aspects because you invited the enemy into my seat, which I will kill all of them in their upcoming participation for taking my seat away, and for you dangling that candy and even giving them that option. It goes both ways. I punish the white and I punish the people who are not white that took the candy. So that's why if I lose like millions of people all in like one shot, nobody's gonna fucking cry. You didn't even notice that Korea and Japan just fucking appeared out of the ocean and messed up the whole solar system, and through my facially non-disfigured whites in Australia that used to have these gorgeous amber eyes. Oh my God. I used to say, yes, they're my prisoners. They're my prisoners of war. I have to keep their genetics safe north of the equator and safely on an island where none of your uglies that I'm trying to get off of the land, that, you know what I mean, like they transposed my beauties to an Australian island that used to be in an area that was Orient Mongol before it turned facially disfigured, which on the Latin maps then got confusing. And I'm like, listen to me, I have to become one piece of language between Cyrillic and English and German. So this way the trifecta of the Bermuda Triangle can explain this to all areas stupid when I appear, depending on how this goes, and where I wake up, and what people are talking about or believing to be so, when we know that the science project's broken. I am having trouble breathing. We call it aspirating. A-S-P-I-R-A-T-I-N-G. Almost like a fish out of water today. I can barely get out a full sentence, and even when I yell, I can barely get out a full sentence before my lungs are already fully collapsed. It's the barometric pressure exerted on the atmospheric pressure and the tidal function of my lungs. T-I-D-A-L-F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N. I can't even take a full, and I know people will be like, well, it's because you smoked. No, it's not because I smoked. It's because the science project is broken, and you're allowing Korea and Japan and the people to live and the people of China, when they were not original to this system, and they just appeared. And then we're having all sorts of problems with them interfering with my very real Mundolla system. They're not allowed in it, to touch it, nothing. But they're not allowed in your in my Air Force. Anything that's got a plane that flies. What holds the wind beneath your wings? I'm just curious. I know Bette Midler gave you a wonderful movie called Beaches, B-E-A-C-H-E-S, for the beached whales. Army, Navy, right? Yeah, there's a science that holds. It's called uplift and draft, right? We draft the science and give you a permit to fly, especially in rigid wing planes that go fast. It's an assignment and you are secure. So I'm just curious, all area smart and handsome men that have that kind of privilege on this earth, why is it that you can't get supernatural people to understand supernatural when you get a permit to make sure that your flight is safe and cleared ahead of time? Whoever authorizes that, that's going to be in manifestation and what I need done.